VS Code just changed again in June 2025, and your old setup of Playwright MCP Server with GitHub Copilot might break. Here is how to configure GitHub Copilot with Playwright MCP Server the right way in the latest VS Code version. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Vision. Let's fix this step by step so you are back in control with latest VS Code update. And before moving further, I would like to inform you that you can now support my YouTube channel, and for that you can go to my channel Vision, then click onto this join button and select the desired option to become a member. You can unlock exclusive perks while helping the channel grow. Your support means a lot. And a big thank you to everyone who has taken channel membership. As a token of appreciation, members can see their YouTube profile pictures featured randomly on the channel homepage. Also, you can access this complete automation using AI and MCP Server's playlist under Playlists tab. Feel free to save this playlist by clicking onto this save button for quick access in your YouTube playlist section. Now let's continue with our current topic, where we are going to see how to configure GitHub Copilot with Playwright MCP Server in latest VS Code. So if you are using old VS Code version which got released on or before May 2025, so old configurations will be applicable for you. All those configurations I have already explained into my previous video. But if you are using latest VS Code which got released on to June 2025 with the version 1.102, then you should be aware about new changes which got added. So in the previous video, we have already seen that what are all the prerequisites which should be there before configuring GitHub Copilot with Playwright MCP Server in the VS Code. These are all the prerequisites which are Node.js, VS Code, and then GitHub Copilot extension and GitHub Copilot chat extension. You can download Node.js and VS Code from the respective official website, and to get these GitHub Copilot extension, you can go to VS Code, and then under this extensions, you can search for GitHub Copilot and GitHub Copilot chat. Once you install these extensions into the VS Code, you would be able to see this GitHub Copilot icon here. You can select it and you would be able to open this AI Assistant window. About all these AI Assistant menu options we have already seen into the previous video, so I am not again repeating it. Now let's do the configurations, and parallelly I will also tell you what are all the differences which you would be able to see into the old VS Code and into the latest VS Code. So let me first open this Playwright MCP Server GitHub repository. And here, if you will scroll down, you will be able to see this Getting Started section. About this, we have also saw into the previous video. And previously, we saw there are different ways we can configure and install Playwright MCP Server into the VS Code. So option 1 is that we can use this Playwright MCP Server repository, where we have this Install Server VS Code option. If you are using VS Code Insider, you can use this particular button. For now, we are using normal VS Code, so we would be using this particular option. So previously we saw that once we click onto this install server, we would be able to see this kind of option. I have taken the image for the same, right? Because into the new version, we would not be able to see this. See, once we previously clicked onto this install server VS Code option, we were able to see this particular pop-up where we clicked onto this install server in your user settings option. And then our Playwright MCP Server got installed and configured into this particular file, which is settings.json, where we were having this MCP key and its value was having this servers key, where our different MCP servers used to get configured. But now with the new VS Code, things are going to get changed. So now let me click onto this install server VS Code option again. So let's click here. Here we need to click onto the Open Visual Studio Code option. And once we click it, we would be able to see this particular new page, where we need to click onto the install, which will install the Playwright MCP Server. Right here we are talking about this particular first way, where we are installing Playwright MCP Server using this particular Git repository, where we have direct button to install Playwright MCP Server. And here once this particular tab is open, we can click onto the install. And as soon as we click onto the install, we would be able to see this Playwright written here. So where this particular option is appearing? So we are onto this extension section. See, into this same section, we have installed GitHub Copilot and GitHub Copilot chat extensions. So this extensions option is old one, but inside it, we would be able to see this new section, which is MCP servers installed. So whatever the MCP servers you will install, you would be able to see all the MCP servers under this MCP servers installed section. And previously, as we discussed into the previous video, once we were installing any MCP server, we were able to see all the configurations into settings.json. For that, we went to this manage settings and then we clicked on to this open settings JSON. And here we were able to see our MCP server configuration section. The same file I put here into the document. See, this section was there, but now there is no such MCP server section. So now where our new configurations would be going. So now with the new VSCode version, our new configuration would be appearing at this particular location. For you, this particular name would be different, right? As per your user profile. So at the same location, we used to have the settings.json. See, under C users, then user profile, app data, roaming, code, and users, we were having this settings.json. Now here we would be having one more file, which is mcp.json. Let me open this particular file into the VS Code. I am dragging and dropping it here. And now here we are able to see the configurations, where we have this object. Inside it, we are having servers as the key, and its value is going to be the object. So this particular object is for Playwright MCP Server. See, we have the key as Playwright, and its value is object, where we have command as npx, asks as @playwright/mcp@latest, and the type is stdio. Previously, this particular key and value were not there. This is new. So here, this command npx means that we want to run the command using npx, right? We just want to run the command. We don't want to install it globally. What is the argument which we are passing? It is the Playwright MCP@latest. So we want to run this particular command, which is npx, then @playwright/mcp@latest. And what is this type stdio? This stdio stands for standard input output. It specifies that how our client is going to communicate with our server. So our client, which is AI assistant, in this case GitHub Copilot, is going to communicate with the Playwright MCP server using the communication method, which is standard input output stream. You need to not much understand about it, but you should be aware about it, right? That what does that mean, right? If you are just able to get this high level idea about all these lines, that is more than enough, right? And even if you are not able to understand that what does that mean, that is also okay, right? Because automatically once you install it, you are going to get all these details directly into this mcp.json file and not into this settings.json. Now previously, if you remember, I told you that we need to start the Playwright MCP server. And previously how we were starting? We were clicking onto the option which was start here, right? Into the settings.json. But now we will not have to open the configurations to start the MCP server. We can simply go to this extension section, and there under the MCP servers installed section, we can click onto this manage, and from here we can click onto the start server. That's it. You would be able to start your MCP server. It is now very convenient, right? You will not have to open this settings, then go to this settings.json, but now we can simply click here and click onto the start server. If we want to restart and stop, all these options are available here without opening any configuration file. And now we can provide any prompt and perform our actions. But before performing any prompt, let's discuss other options to install the Playwright MCP server. Let me open document, and here is the second way where we can install the Playwright MCP server using VSCode CLI. With the previous VSCode version also, we have used the exact same command, right? Here into the Git repository also, you would be able to see the same command. Let me copy it. Let's go to the VSCode. For now, let me uninstall this particular Playwright MCP server. See here, cross is appearing because there was only one server and we have uninstalled it. So that mcp.json itself got deleted, right? If there would be more than one MCP servers, then your mcp.json file would be there, but the uninstalled MCP server would not be there. Let me close it. Now here, let's open the terminal, and here into the bash terminal, we will provide the command. And after providing command, hit enter. And see, it is showing added MCP server Playwright. And see, we got the same Playwright MCP server under MCP servers installed section. And again, we would be able to see this mcp.json file, where we would be able to see the configurations related to the specific MCP server. See, for now here we are not able to see that type and its value was stdio, but we have got the essential configurations, right? These key value pairs, which is command and args. And again, you can go to this manage and start the server. So this was the second way. Now let's go to the third way, where we can manually put configurations into mcp.json. So in the previous video, we saw that we can put all the key value pairs into settings.json, but now we will have to put it in the mcp.json into the same file, right? Now let's remove all these key value pairs related to the Playwright MCP server. And see, here also we are not able to see that installed Playwright MCP server because we have removed the configurations itself, right? And because of that only our Playwright MCP server was installed and was appearing here. And into the manual way, you need to simply provide those key value pairs, right? Which is playwright : and then this object where we are having this command as the key and npx as value, and again args as the key and its value is an array with a string @playwright/mcp@latest. So I've just copy pasted it. You can manually type it, right? So these are just the different ways, right? You can use any one of the way, and usually I prefer to use the first option by clicking directly here into the install server VSCode. But there can be the case for different MCP servers. You may not be having this particular option, so you should be aware about all the options, right? For the Playwright MCP server, this option is available and you can simply use it, right? So all these three options which we just discussed were also available with our old VSCode version also. But now we have one more way to install MCP servers into the VSCode. And for that, we need to go to this particular site, which is code-visualstudio.com/MCP. You can simply open this particular site by opening the link, or into the VSCode also. Here into this MCP servers installed section, you would be able to see this icon to browse MCP servers. Click here and it will open the same link. And here you would be able to see multiple MCP servers which you can install with the VSCode. And into this video, we are discussing about configuring Playwright MCP server. So here you would be able to see this Playwright from the Microsoft. You can simply click onto this install Playwright, which will install the Playwright MCP server. First, let me uninstall the Playwright MCP server so that we would be able to see the changes. See, we are able to see this strike because we deleted our first and one and only our favorite Playwright MCP server. Now let's go to that install Playwright option. Click here and here same. Click onto this open Visual Studio Code. See, we have got the same tab again. Just click onto the install and our Playwright MCP server will get installed. Here we have got this MCP JSON again, where we are able to see all the options related to the Playwright MCP server, where we have same Playwright as the key and its value as this object, where command is npx, args is Playwright MCP latest, and type is stdio. So these are all the different ways through which we can install the Playwright MCP server into our VS Code. And you can use any one of the option, but usually I would recommend you to use the specific official Git repository of the MCP server which you want to install, or you can simply go to this particular MCP website of the Visual Studio, and from there you can install the MCP servers. These are more straightforward and there is less chance of human error. Now let's provide the basic prompt to perform one basic operation using our AI assistant, which is GitHub Copilot, which would be using Playwright MCP server, which we just installed. So for now, we will perform some basic actions onto the Wish Infinite site, where we will be going onto this playground section and then we will be clicking onto this selectors option. We can perform more operations by giving just the prompt. Into the upcoming videos, you would be able to see all the different ways to provide the prompt to perform the different actions. For now, let's provide one simple prompt, where we will be going onto this particular site and then we will instruct that we need to click onto this selectors section under the playground. Let's write the basic prompt. So go to this Wish Infinite site and then click onto the selectors section under playground. And now, previously also I told you that we need to select agent here. If you will select this ask, it will just provide you the response, right? It is not going to perform any actions. So don't forget to select this agent here. What is the meaning of agent? What does it do? That I have already explained into the previous video. If you have not watched that particular video, I will provide link of that video into the description, or you can click onto this I button at top right corner to access that particular video. So here, after selecting agent, we can select the different models from here. For now, these three options are available: Cloud Sonnet 3.5, GPT 4.1 and GPT 4.0. For now, I'm using this free Copilot version, and I've already used this Cloud Sonnet limit. So I'm selecting this GPT 4.1. In the previous video, we have used this Cloud Sonnet 3.5, right? And you can select different models from here. For now, I'm selecting GPT 4.1. And now we can click onto this send. See, for now, our MCP server is not yet started. But here, I will directly click onto the send. And now, this AI assistant is able to communicate with the Playwright MCP server, where it is asking for our permission to click onto the continue to navigate to this particular URL. And as I previously also told that for each and every action, it would be asking this particular permission. This permission is for each action, and when I'm saying the action, it means different Playwright operations. And to see what are all these operations, we can click onto this tool option, this one, configure tools. And here these are built-in tools. If you will scroll down, you would be able to see this MCP server Playwright section, where you would be able to see different tools like browser click, browser close, browser console, browser navigate, browser press keys, and different tools. And if you have already seen my Playwright tutorials, you must be aware all these are the different Playwright actions which we can perform, like click, entering some values, navigating to the link. So all these actions are appearing here as the tool, right? So don't get confused. So these are all the different tools which are available with this Playwright MCP server. So all these are the actions which can be performed by the Playwright MCP server. So for now, I think there are 26 different Playwright MCP server tools which are available. See, but in future, this count can get increased, right? Let me select this also. And here one more thing, from this tool section, if you will click onto this settings, it is going to open this mcp.json file. Let me close all the files. Then again, I can show you. Click onto this configure tools, scroll down, and here click onto this configure global in code. And see, our mcp.json file got opened, right? The same file which we have opened from here. Rather than going onto this particular path, we can simply open it into the VSCode directly. Go to this configure tools and click onto this configure global in code. Now let's continue. And to continue also, there are different options which we have already seen. Like here, we can allow it for this particular session, allow in this workspace, and always allow. And as I told you, if you are familiar with the website, so you can select this always allow. But for the demo purpose, I am selecting this allow in this session. So this option is available every time I show the demo, right? Otherwise, if I will click onto this always allow, I will never get this continue button. It will automatically click onto the continue. So for now, clicking onto this allow in this session. And see, as soon as I clicked onto continue, it opened the browser and automatically our Playwright MCP server also got started. See here also, if you will click onto the manage, this start server option is grayed out because the server is already started, and now we can stop or restart it. So automatically our AI assistant started the MCP server to perform the action. So it is not mandatory that you will have to first start the Playwright server, then only you need to provide the prompt. Automatically, AI assistant is that smart that it would be able to start the MCP server, which is required, right? But if you want to start it manually, either you can go to this manage for the specific MCP server and click onto the start, or here also you would be able to see the start, stop, and restart button. For now it is running, so this running is appearing here. Now again, let me click onto this allow in this session, and see it clicked onto the selectors under the playground. And now we are able to see this summary that I have navigated to this wishinfinite.com and clicked onto the selectors section under the playground. The selector section is now open and visible. For now, we have just performed very basic operation, but later into the series, we are going to perform more automation operations using the Playwright MCP server by providing different prompts. And as I previously told you, I have created this particular specific video just to show you that what are all the different options you would be able to see into the VS Code, and what is the difference between the old configuration and the new configuration for the MCP servers. And here we are focused onto the Playwright MCP server, but like this, you can install any MCP server you want to use. And now I will conclude this video here. But before we wrap up, let me give you a quick recap. So here we saw that how we can configure our GitHub Copilot with the Playwright MCP server in the latest VS Code, where we need to install all these prerequisites, and then we can proceed further with our main configuration. And here we saw different 4 options to configure Playwright MCP server. First way is that we can go to Playwright MCP server GitHub repository, where we can simply click onto the install server VS Code option, which will show this open Visual Studio Code, and here it will show this particular tab from where we can install this Playwright MCP server. And you would be able to see this installed MCP server under this extensions, where we will be able to see this new MCP server installed section. And from here we can start, stop and restart MCP server. We can also uninstall the specific MCP server. You can also explore all these different options. Apart from this, we saw that we can use this particular command to install this Playwright MCP server into the VS Code, which installed this Playwright MCP server. The third way was the manual way, and to configure MCP server manually, you need to open this mcp.json file. If this file is not created, you can create a new file with the same name and extension, where you can provide all these key value pairs manually. If you would be having any of the MCP server installed, you will have to provide this particular object separately after the comma. In the upcoming videos, we will be installing more MCP server, so you would be able to see different objects separated by comma for this server's key. And after that, we also saw the latest option, where we can go to this particular site, or we can click onto this browse MCP servers option, where we can select different MCP server to install into the VS Code. For now, we installed the Playwright MCP server from here. So like this, you can click here, click onto the open settings, which will give us this particular page. And here we can simply click onto the install. And here we also provided one basic prompt for now by selecting agent from here and our specific model from here. And once it performs any operation using MCP server and the model, it will ask us different permission to perform different operation. So now with the new VS Code, this installation or configuration is now very simple as compared to the previous one. So now if you are finding this playlist helpful, give it a rating out of 5 and drop your suggestions in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts. And that's it from my end. You can click onto this first card to go to the next video. You can click onto the second card to access this whole automation using AI and MCP servers playlist, and stay tuned for my upcoming videos. If you have any comments, questions or doubts, you can let me know into the comment section below. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. Have a great day.